pre-show ever. We're gonna get
Yeah.
in here and get out. I, I
Yeah.
I think we can hit under an hour on this one.
Knowing us, probably.
But yeah, I mean, I think we'll have we have a good amount to talk about
We do.
for us to in the TWAB, thankfully. So I think I gotta spend my 2 days off in that dungeon so I can get that solo flawless this weekend.
Yeah, you gotta get that done.
Otherwise, I gotta get that done. Yeah, I'm gonna be annoyed if I don't. It's gonna be really bad. I'm just talking because I see you there like that with the YouTubes, and I'm trying to make sure that we got a good
Yeah,
volume set up.
just trying to. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I was waiting for myself to talk so I could make sure that all volumes pretty much match.
Gotcha.
All right, so now
Yeah.
I'm going to copy the link,
Of time.
go to the Twitter. Put this on that. Jared and episode 73. Not so Fox is AFK this week. Alright, I tweeted it. Let's see if the link will take me there. And it does. Cool.
Hey, I see it right
that
here.
part is done. So now,
Fox is AFK this week for sure.
yeah. Spill name will self promo. Paste. All right. Everything is out. The normal places to work. Like, I feel like posting it. I don't feel like posting it everywhere. So, all right. That is, we're good. We're going. All right. So, you did an intro?
I can if you want this time, because I think you've done it the last 2 times that Ryan's been on vacation.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like Eyes Up Guardians.
It's fine. You do it what you want.
I know. You already changed it to 73.
Yep.
8. 11. I think I'll riff on it. Let me.
Yeah. Okay.
Z. Okay. All right. I'm gonna plug my phone in here, get it charging. Open up the YouTubes. All right. Ready to go?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. I'm gonna click start recording here, and he waits till like 3 seconds before he starts talking, right? Usually.
Yeah. He waits a couple seconds.
Yeah. Starting it right now. All right, hey there, everybody. We are live for episode 73 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, 8/11, and this is not the Destiny bad boy, not Ryan Fox. He is on vacation with the fam. Take him down to what was it, Disney World? I've still never been, so I'm a
Yes.
little bit jealous. But he went down there for the week, so it's me and your boy Jared.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting fact about me, I went there when I was around like 7 or 8 years old and actually got lost from my family. So I just was just nowhere to be found. I don't know really what happened. There was a cool fountain, something else shiny, and all of a sudden I was just separated from the group. So, um, interesting fact there. But it's a 2-man squad for this podcast, and me and Jazz got it. We're ready to go.
All right, so if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Be sure to subscribe, unsubscribe, and resubscribe. If you listen to us long enough, you know what Ryan's going to say here after that. Click the bell, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us your Bungie friend requests. We like to do all kinds of stuff, GMs, dungeon runs, set up some raids whenever we get enough people on. It'll be a blast. And this week we're gonna start off with a pretty good TWAB, lots of good changes, and we'll get into that right after this intro music brought to you by everybody's favorite Link. You can find him on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG, and here we go.
All right, everyone. This 12 this week is pretty good. Sam wrote it, and she's also got joined by Mercules 904, one of the new Bungie hires that used to be one of the hosts of the Massive Breakdown podcast. And he's been over there tuning up some weapons that we're about to get into. But if you want a quick summary of what we're going to be talking about here, it's going to be they buffed some unutilized weapon archetypes, so scout rifles and heavy grenade launchers in PvE, high impact auto rifles and lightweight bows. They buffed multiple perks and fixed some bugs on some others, and they updated perk descriptions to be more accurate, and they buffed multiple exotic weapons, and a lot of intrinsic anti-champion mods has been added. There's a rework to a few of the painful exotics that's been going on in PvP. And they updated some perk pools for Dares of Eternity weapons and also gave them a new origin trait. So first up is going to be some global changes. They fixed an issue in the 30th anniversary update that caused too much heavy ammo to drop when you're running double special weapons. This doesn't feel great. I wish they probably would have left this in the game, but I understand what they're doing there. It should be a difficult thing to do in the game to run double special with heavy. And then several weapons had some stats hidden, but now would be fully that you can look at whenever you inspect a weapon in the weapon screen. So that's airborne effectiveness. I a lot of times just say AE, and then recoil direction, zoom, and aim assist are now visible when viewing the weapon. Overall,
Nice.
good changes there, right, Chad?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited to actually see a stat, because making guesses or directly messaging my boy Jared here, hey man, this is what I got equipped. How much is my AE right now?
Yeah.
Like, what do I got to do to get this gun to be plus 70? I don't want to do that to him, so I don't. But it's gonna be nice to actually have a stat there that I can see, and kind of work around there, because right now I've been ignoring it for now because I don't have that. So having that will let me play with it and actually mess around with it.
It's going to be interesting to see if it gets updated, like when you put Icarus on or not, if it's going to move the stat up by 15, or like if you have it an armor piece on like Foe Tracer, how it increases all weapons by 20. Like I wonder if that's going to just automatically update or not, or you have to know that's going on in the back end. All right, scout rifles. You know, they can still use some more love in PvE. So they increase damage of all scout rifles versus minor enemies by 10%. So good change there. I mean, scout rifles right now have unstoppable mod, correct?
Yeah, it's unstoppable.
So I mean, I feel like that's the only reason I ever run scout, just because I have to use it instead of using an unstoppable glaive. So that's kind of why I use it. High impact auto rifles. I've always said these things need stability help whenever I talked about them. So I'm usually going at the polygonal. Well, that might change now. So across the board, these weapons are getting 6 to 12 stat points of stability depending on where the weapon is at. So overall, this weapon should just feel way better whenever you're holding down the trigger and firing it. Lightweight bows. They get a little less use in PvE because they just don't do as much demo per arrow as the precision. So they're going to try to counteract that a little bit by reducing the draw time by 5%. And then also increase the perfect draw window. This is whenever like you have your max aim assist cone, along with it's going to also be the most accurate at that point too. So depending on the stability stat. So from the low end, it goes from 0.3 seconds to 0.5 seconds, and the high end from 0.55 seconds to 0.8 seconds. So Chad, like before this change, is only from a half a second to 0.55 seconds to have that perfect draw window, which seems pretty crazy. Like I don't even know what the math checks out. Is that even a frame difference for OG consoles?
Oh, for consoles? I don't think so, but I mean, it'll be, it increases the window quite a bit. Like, it's a more than 50% increase on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
It's from point 0.3 to 0.5.
Yeah.
So that's a decent increase in the amount of time you have to get that shot right. And I mean, for bow players that are already used to it, it's just going to give them a little bit more of like a little bit more leeway
Yeah.
to hold the fire there for a second. If they're already used to it now, they're going to have an extra 0.2 seconds to be like, all right, let me make sure I line it up and then like let it loose. Um, so I mean, overall, that's just a good change. Extending that amount of time is only going to be it's going to be only helpful to players and make bows more of a thing more people want, because you got to hit it in that perfect window, or it doesn't feel as good as just shooting a scout rifle does, because it's just as long as you time your shots right, you're just shooting. So a bow, you have to get it right on that sweet spot before it feels really nice.
For us, most part, I don't use bows very often, except for when bows have overload for the season. Are you the same way, Chad?
Yeah, unless it like if it doesn't have a anti barrier that season, I don't really touch them. Anti barrier, I think it was, or when we had overload, that was really fun with bows.
Yeah.
Because you just line up the shot, wait for the guy to round the corner, and then bang, and then automatically overloaded and just start laying into it with everything else. And it felt good, especially with like when everyone was running Tikus or doing Laymanark. That was it was just a fun time, you know. But yeah, bows don't really get a lot of play out of me unless they have a champ mod going that season.
Yep. Next up is a hand cannon. Dire's Promise Zoom actually got changed to a 13, and so now it's the 14. So anybody's got some rangefinder opening shot ones hanging out in the vault. I think there's a rangefinder snapshot sold by Zur at one point. So this is going to be it's a very good feeling hand cannon for the most part in that connect slot. Next up with glaives, their interactions with some exotic armor pieces can be confusing. So they explicitly made some changes to align better with their stated goals. So glaive melee attacks can now activate exotic armor perks on ACDO feedback fence, Karstein ornaments, and necrotic grip. Wow.
Yeah.
Karstein's? You can just stay alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I just stab and everything. Yeah. And then necrotic also, you stab something and it just blows up with a poison cloud. Like, come on, man. That would make glaives fun. Like, all it needed was for that stab melee attack to be considered a melee. not a weapon attack, because it's not considered a weapon attack for any of the perks.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get any of the benefits from being a melee attack or from the perks from being a weapon attack. It was always in a weird spot. So having that interaction there is going to be a lot of fun, um, especially for warlocks apparently.
So I mean, ACO feedback fence is pretty good, but I feel like it's not going to be near as good as the other two, right, Chad? Like it's this.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I love feedback fence. Don't get me wrong. It
Mm-hmm.
was one of my favorite Destiny 1
Mm-hmm.
exotics just forever. I loved it. I enjoyed it very much. Because the shoddy punch was a big deal in PvP, and this thing was hilarious if you can get the punch first.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I like them, and I always have a set that's infused up, so I can grab it if I want to just mess around. But um, the warlocks are definitely going to get a really good use out of this for sure, especially in PvE. It's going to be a lot of fun for them.
Yep. All right. Next up is breach action grenade launchers. That's the one shot special ones. Concussion grenades will no longer roll in the magazine slot. So they signaled that out that they no longer roll in the magazine slot. And of course, blinding grenades are better in the same slot and serve the same purpose. So my question to that is, Chad, just hear me out. Like, what if concussion grenades moves to perk 3 or 4 and it has unstoppable built into concussion nades?
Ooh, and
I
intrinsic unstoppable.
Yeah, and like it's on the legendary weapon, but it's just a random roll that you can get
That
there.
would set a neat precedent,
Yeah.
because that would mean that they could add anti-champs to perk rolls. So you
Mhm.
could get a specific gun with a specific perk that has an anti-champ to it.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being an intrinsic to the gun. Um, I mean, yeah, that's a neat idea.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see if they could do it.
All right. Heavy grenade launchers. They really haven't been good since Shadowkeep, I feel like. So they don't see a lot of support in PvE because Bungie has nerfed them into the ground ages ago and never touched them again. So they're getting 10% extra damage versus majors and above. But this excludes Parasite because I guess it doesn't need any more damage. But
Darn it.
you know what? I mean, why not? Just have it be that good. Make everybody build up Parasite.
It should be to everything above majors except raid bosses. Because then it's like, all right, I get it. I get where you're going.
Yeah.
All right, raid and dungeon bosses are different. Named bosses are different. Whatever. But that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So one of the things I remember using with the heavy grenade launcher for a long time was, what's the other one in the heavy slot to where everybody used on Riven?
Oh, Prospector.
Prospector. Yep. That's whenever your Titan barricades was like give you instant reload.
Yeah. So you just sit there and just launch them because it
Yep.
fired real fast. It had a mag size of 8, I think.
Yeah.
So it was just like thump, 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 and you just keep getting another round back in the mag, and you just get 6 people just shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
All right, that does it for like general weapon changes. So we're going to talk about Days of Eternity weapons. They are getting updated perk pools and adding an origin trait. So I'm just going to guess that the weapons that I have in my vault, the god rolls that I have of those weapons, are not getting updated with the trait, and I'll have to get new ones.
I'm willing to bet that's what's gonna happen. Which is sad.
Yeah.
But because like if it had happened in the season that it was that they came out, everyone would have been just grinding it the whole time.
Yeah.
It depends on what the origin trait is, obviously, and if the perks are any good. I mean, they did say that they will be doing that to specific pools of weapons. They'll be like slowly taking like, well, these 2 perks suck. We're gonna take those out and put 2 new ones in.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice that they can do that.
Yeah.
But again, it's gonna be like the only reason I'm feeling also like Jared does is because they're also adding a origin trait to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, dang it. Like even if I don't like the perks, if the origin trait is good enough, it's like, well, now I need my god roll again so that I also get the trait on it. Kind of like what people did with Reed's Regret.
Yep.
They're like, well, Vice Stinger is ridiculous on Reed's, so now I need my god roll with the Vice Stinger on it also. Otherwise, the gun's just meh. It's like, no, the gun's still great, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Vice Stinger's awesome. Um, we'll get to that a little bit later. But I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. It's like now I need, depending on what the trade is, because if the trade's meh, it's like I don't really feel the need to get it. But if it's something good, it's like shoot, no, I have to do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yep. Yep. All right. They also addressing issues in Crucible, Gambit, and Strike where weapons weren't randomizing individual perk columns. So where perks counted correctly based on number of resets. So it should just be fixed across the board. I don't know. I didn't have any issues with it, but like I guess like I think I'm on reset 3, about to complete reset
Yeah.
3, and sometimes some of the weapons would just have 1 perk, and then the next one
Mm-hmm.
has 3 in column 3 and 2 in column 4. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
just get more consistent there.
So I think it's when you reset the first time, it adds a perk into the next slot, and then you reset a second time, it adds another slot, and then or the you from what I've read on Reddit, um, you didn't want to reset for the from the third to the fourth. You wanted to just max out and leave it there. Otherwise, it like resets the perk pools back to 0. So you only
Oh,
had
okay.
1 and 1 again.
Okay.
Um, so that might be what they're talking about. Because this was early in the season when people grinded out everything and they got to like 4 resets and all of a sudden the weapons weren't dropping with extra perk
Mm-hmm.
slots and
Okay.
they were trying to figure out why, and it was because they reset past 3. So we'll see in week 1 if somebody's done that, if that's the case.
There's
But
definitely a few people out there.
yeah.
All right, now we're going to some perk changes. So, Gambit and Iron Banner original traits were just absolutely terrible. You know, we talked about these. It's like, wow, why would you use them? You don't even want to use them in their intended playlist. So, they're getting a change. So, the Gambit origin trait, Invader Tracker, is getting changed to Gun and Run. And it's basically you get increased sprint speed on multi kills. Well, it's better than Invader Tracker, but
Oh yeah.
I
Made for Reapers, dog.
next, the Skulking Wolf, which is the Iron Banner origin trait, is redesigned to activate on kills while at low health, so it will work in all PvP now, and it should work in PvE too. But
Yeah.
I guess you wouldn't show up, right? I guess like the enemies will automatically know where you're at. I don't know. We'll see. There might be some weird interaction in PvE where
Mm.
you're not invis, but you might get like a shred if they don't know where you're at. Maybe. All right. Ambitious Assassin has fallen behind because stuff like overflow, and they need to adjust it a bit. So increase magazine overflow from 10 to 20% per kill on primary weapons, and special weapons and heavy weapons are still remain at 10%, and then the overflow cap has been increased from 50% to 150%. So it's pretty good now. It's not just an instant throwaway perk.
No, I mean it was fun on like breach and rocket launchers
Mm-hmm.
because it's like ooh 2 in the mag.
Mm-hmm.
But on everything else it was not good. Um,
Yep.
so having it more match up with overflow without having to run over a brick is nice. Having it more
Mm-hmm.
in line with that, just different activation methods is pretty sweet.
So 10%. So I guess you would have to get to
8 kills.
8 kills with a rocket to get it to go to 3.
Well, no, because special and heavies are still at 10%, so you'd have to
Yeah.
get 15 kills. But with a
Okay.
primary, you get 20% per kill.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So 8 kills and you're already
I'm just
150% mag.
trying to figure out ways to get my rocket launcher and breach action
Just
grenade launchers
tether a
too.
group, baby.
Okay.
Chunk.
Okay. All right. Wellspring. Wellspring had an internal cooldown to prevent it from activating too frequently, and this is no longer needed. So they removed that, and it's also allowing rocket and grenade launchers to return more ability energy when defeating groups with a single shot. Perpetual motion was triggering frequently enough to be annoying, so we disabled the audio and visual feedback on perk activation. I don't like this change.
You want to know when it's going on?
Yeah, I want to know when I have the buff.
That's fair.
I mean, if it's just in the corner of my screen, it's fine. But I mean, I don't need the audio sound, but I still need it like just in the corner. Just tell me that it's going.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, Left for Gold. Wasn't respecting the functionality of splitting the special ammo picked up when 2 special weapons were equipped. Now gives the correct amount of ammo to each weapon when 2 special weapons are equipped. So Bungie overall is just nerfing double special loadouts and like ways to get around it. Going into season 18. As we mentioned before, concussion grenades no longer grenade launchers. Vice Stinger. Chad, you mentioned this one. They fixed a bug to where it was applying charge time reduction to linear fusion rifles. It will now correctly only refill the magazine from reserves when it triggers on these weapons. Yeah. I mean, Storm Chaser was still better than Vice Stinger linear fusion, I believe. But I mean, I understand. It's not working the way it's intended. I'll take it. I understand.
Yeah. If they meant it to be like that, okay, but they didn't, so they're just reverting it to what it should be doing.
Yeah.
Which is sad for all those people that have adept reads that spent the time doing that, but
they're still really good.
Amazing gun. It's still an amazing gun.
Yeah. Zen Moment has always had a description that confused players. Particle Repeater 2, their descriptions have been updated to say what they actually do. So Zen Moment does nothing for mouse and keyboard users, and it helps controller players tremendously, and it just basically just removes screen shake. All right, now it's the time for the fun part. We got some exotic changes. So Chad, go ahead and lead us off there with Monarch.
All right, baby. So first of all, they're talking about they added some anti-champ intrinsics to a couple of weapons. First off is Le Monarch is getting overload to the poison arrows. So you have to get that, again, you have to get that perfect shot to get the poison. But the poison is going to have the overload, not every shot. Thunderlord is going to have intrinsic overload as well. Malfeasance is adding unstoppable to the explosions. So after your 5th shot, bang, I'm guessing the first bang is going to unstop, and then the rest are going to do full damage on it, and then you're just going to keep on doing it. It's going to be fun to have 5 people going into the corrupted and just hitting the boss with it real quick, just see what happens. Yep. And then they also added a plus 25 to the base airborne effectiveness, or the AE stat. So it's going from 28 to 53. So you do not need a lot to get that to that plus 70, which is a sweet spot, right? It's 70 where you want it to kind of.
They did some changes now. 60 is still the point to where your bullets go straight.
Okay, yeah. So you're not that far away at all.
Yeah.
So plus 60. Mm-hmm. Then Wish Ender, another bow, is getting. Oh, okay.
For you, Malfeasance, it pairs really well with Lucky Pants, right?
Yes.
So I'm just throwing this out there. Auto loading holder rocket launcher with time payload. Okay. Switch to your Malfeasance as you unstop the champion with the explosions. The rocket also explodes for instant delete.
Yeah. Because we did that a lot back in season where Keitel came in, that season.
Yep.
Season of the Chosen, I think. That season where they added the lasting impressions rockets. Mm-hmm. But they also rockets had unstoppable on them? Or
no,
it was something else.
No, it was like or something, but yeah.
Yeah. So something else had unstoppable. So what we did as a group, like Jared and I kind of did it by accident and figured out that it worked out well. We would stick the champs with both of our rockets, and then wait for a second and then stun them, and then our rockets just blew up and just deleted the enemies. So you could kind of time that out. But yeah, if you rocket and then switch to Malfeasance, bang, 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 mm-hmm. That first explosion is gonna unstop them, and then they're just gonna all the explosions everywhere. So that'll be fun.
Tell us about everybody's second favorite bow.
His second favorite bow. Okay. Wish Ender. Tikus?
The Monarch.
Wishender. Oh. So Wishender is getting anti-barrier. So we already, based on the lore and everything, all it was is a armor-piercing machine. That's basically what it was made to do with its wall hacks and everything else. It's supposed to be basically just go through everything. So they increased the number of hits versus most targets from 2 to 3. They increased the damage versus champions and majors and mini bosses by 10%. And then the draw time was decreased from 828 milliseconds to 820. So that extra 8 milliseconds. I don't know how that's going to feel. I don't play with Monarch or Wishender,
Yeah.
but it's Wishender. So it get just another option for anti-barrier is going to be good. And then we're moving to Tiku's Divination is getting a free small buff from the global lightweight bows. So it's getting that draw time decrease from 612 to 580. And then my baby, the Legend of Acreus. They say it has fallen far behind other heavy short-range weapons, and it needs a buff. So the Catalyst is now going to give it Trench Barrel.
Love it.
Oh, your boy's excited. I think that might be why they're trying to get rid of. They're trying to get rid of my 2-4 punch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're trying to do. But I can't. No, because part of the 2-4 punch was what's the void shotgun in the heavy slot?
Or tractor.
Tractor, yeah, because part of that is tractor, and then punch. Oh no, I'm thinking 2-4 punch, but yeah, no, Acreus is gonna hit like a truck, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It already hits hard, but with trench, I mean, it's got 4 in the mag, so
6.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's got Jesus. So yeah, you'll be able to do 2 trenches.
Yeah, 2 trenches.
In a full mag. That's gonna be wild. I'm so excited.
I mean, like,
and then
Liar's Handshake pairs well.
Yeah.
I mean, what
Just
what
that
else?
extra
It's
hard
like
hit.
Syntheseps pair well with this. I mean, what other exotics pair in?
Ooh. That back wrist for the arc.
Yep.
Right. All right. And then they have another note here. It says different versions of the exotic paired with legendary weapons didn't have matching stats, so we have brought them up to parity. Callus Mini Tool is increasing the AE from 23 to 28 to match the Mida Mini Tool. The Mida Mini Tool increased the zoom from 13 to 14 to match the Callus Mini Tool. So those guys are both going to be the same gun because they are. The Drang Baroque is increasing the AE from 21 to 23 to match the regular Drang. Sweet Business is getting an AE from 27 to 32.
It just amazes me whenever they throw in Sweet Business. This is like the second time it's got an AE increase. It's like they want people to jump in the air with this gun.
Yeah.
That's the Changa.
They want people to go from a height to start shooting and fall.
Yep.
And just continue to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting Lions Season 17 5% buff was rolled back as a part of a larger bug. That's being reintroduced and increased. So all you Fighting Lion stands now receives a intended buff from 5 to 8% increase, and they increase the grace time of the instant reload effect of Thin the Herd from 5 to 6 seconds. So they're giving it some love there too.
You Fighting Lion fans have to just be wary. You know, you don't want this thing catching on in PvP. It's real close.
But don't talk about it.
It's real close. I'm about to start running it. I'm real close too. But just beware. All right, we got some like exotic reworks. Some could say nerfs. So Lord of Wolves. Lord of Wolves has been a thorn in the side of PvP players for a while now, right? It breaks. It used to break ammo economy, and it just like kills at a range that's quite far. And so they'll make some changes. They decrease the starting amount of ammo in PvP from 15 to 10. So it brings it in line. It's got 2 shots, just like any other shotgun. Reduce the burst size from the trigger pull from 10 to 5 when Release the Wolves is active. Reduce the burst delay by 60% when Release the Wolves is active. Decrease Lord of Wolves base damage by 20%. Now deals 35 per shot to the body in PvP and 44 with Release the Wolves active. and then also increased damage in PvE by 20% to compensate. I hope this is enough for PvP where people's not running the shotgun anymore. It probably is, just for the fact that they changed it from 15 to 10 with starting ammo. But it might end up being better in PvE now. So we will see. Dead Man's Tell. This is a gun that's been like pretty much like high up in the meta for PvP, I would say, ever since it came out. And that's mainly because when you start hitting headshots, you start doing increased damage in PvP. Well, that's going to be going away. So let's see what all is happening here. So cranial spike was what that was called when you get a headshot. So it no longer buffs damage versus players. Instead, it grants increased reload, aim assist, and range per stack. But in PvE, it still grants the additional damage. So good job, Bungie, there, separating that out. And then upon reaching maximum stacks of cranial spike, the catalyst will allow an increase of hip fire RPM by 50. This will now bring it up to 180 RPM, but will reduce the damage per bullet by 20%. So, not the greatest, but still there, and a lot of cool stuff happening with that gun. You still feel like the Western part of the gun that it brings it out. All right, collective obligation. I think, this pulse rifle, people got it from Val and the boss. Probably ran it for about maybe a strike. And like, all right, this isn't really that good. A lot you have to do to make it work. Well, they're going to change that. So they increased the void leech timer to 15 seconds for PvE activities. And then PvP remains at 10 seconds. Remove the cooldown. So that's how long you used to have to wait 10 seconds before you was able to build up another charge of pulling like suppression, volatile, or what's the third? Suppression, volatile.
Suppression, volatile. Oh gosh, I can't think of it.
Weaken.
Weaken.
Yep.
There it is.
So now you can just keep pulling them. So, and that's their added 20% damage bonus against PvE combatants while Void Leech is active. Takes less hits to fully charge. Void Leech kills against debuff targets. Instantly charged Void Leech. Void Leech is also instantaneously charged when your character is affected by Void debuffs. Does not work when hitting yourself with a suppressor grenade. But I mean, means now in PvP, if other teams are using a bunch of Void, you can kind of you can
valid.
siphon off of there.
I mean, that's I think that's part of the change that we discussed earlier was there shouldn't be a cooldown on the leech at all.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't have a cooldown on it. You should just be able to keep on taking it as long as you want. But adding that where getting hit by it also absorbs it, that's pretty decent. Like that's gonna be, it's gonna be neat because the void enemies still do stuff. Could you imagine doing because the void hive guardians?
Yes. Yep.
The knights
they suppress. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, hey, now my gun can suppress you back.
Yep. All right, we got some armor changes here. So with this update in next season, Whisper Chains and Omnioculus is can kind of be annoying in PvP. But, I mean, people use those a lot in PvE builds. I mean, there's multiple times in Grandmasters I ran Omni to make my teammates invisible. So, this change is only going to be in PvP. PvE is going to remain unchanged for these damage resists. So, Tier 1 used to be at 10%. Now it's down to 2.5. Tier 2 was at 15. Now it's down to 5. Tier 3 used to be at 20, now it's down to 7.5, and Tier 4 used to be 25% and is now down to 10. So whenever you're getting the tiers of damage resist, it means less in PvP now.
Big oof.
Well, I think it makes sense in PvP. That's pretty hard to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can see when somebody's invisible or see where there's a crystal, but to know that they have the damage resist too is it's hard to know. So it's a good change. All right, things that they're going to be looking into while in season 18 and maybe into season 19 is reducing shotgun spread randomness. I do like that. I wish it was very consistent. Reducing bow swapping effectiveness, increasing trace rifle ease of use, the full auto setting should come sometime soon. Reducing the ability of snipers to shoot through flinch in PvP. Examining a small targeted balance changes of certain PvP outliers. Pulse rifles with out of band effectiveness. I'm looking at you, rapid fire frames. High impact scout rifles and precision frame fusion rifles. So, Chad, what's your fusion rifle of choice right now going into PvP?
I'm a weirdo, man. Don't ask me that.
I mean, you're the
I
fusion
go
guy.
in. I go in with my what's the solar one right now?
Cartesian?
The one everybody Cartesian. Yeah, I go in with Cartesian because it's on my character,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm gonna spend the time to create a loadout, I'm going in with my Glacier Chasm,
Okay.
which even after pulling almost 100 of them, I still don't have my God roll. But it's whatever.
Uh,
I'm the RNG boy.
the dawn is just a
Um,
few months away.
yeah, I know. But yeah, I still love my high impacts because I don't have to worry that missing a couple shots won't kill my opponent. Because it needs so little amount of those bolts to hit, and those things can map people because they take so long to charge. They're like, well, your charge time is a second, so we're gonna give you as much range as possible. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna outrange this guy. This thing's gonna be maximum range, and once you get used to it, people don't know what to do unless they've already faced it before. So like halfway through a match for against the good players, they know what to do at that point, and I'm like, I had fun while I lasted.
Yeah.
But I mean, the adaptive frames right now are still good for people that want to get their feet wet. So having changes to precision depending on what they do to them is gonna be interesting. Um, so I'm hoping to see some good because they did a good job of separating the archetypes of them. So I'm hoping that they can separate it even more, and precisions can really be their own thing, and do well. So I'm excited to see what they do. I'm hopeful.
All right, finishing up future goals here, or stuff we're looking at. Glaive interactions with exotic armor, just still looking at that, and then also fixing glaive hit detection. And then reworking some enhanced perks. You know, you look at some of those enhanced perks and what they give you, like some of them with just like +5 handling. I mean, it's not really that great for the investment that takes into that. So hopefully they address some of that. And then also folding spec mods into base perks. So that comes to mind: Rampage spec, Dragonfly spec, stuff like that. It's just
Surrounded.
like surrounded. Just add it to the weapon and do away with the spec. You know us. We normally skip over moment of the week, movie of the week, but there was a little ode to The
I knew
Office
it.
in there about the Microsoft meme. It was like "don't," and it's Banshee when they were looking at Telesto, and Telesto's there with like ooh woo all that stuff. Yeah, but Telesto, just stay in your corner. You just stay over there. It's fine. We'll feed you snacks every now and then. Just don't get up. So it's fine. All right, that is it for the TWAB. So normally this brings us to 3 likes and dislikes, but as you know, Fox is AFK down in Florida, so it's just going to be 2 likes and 2 dislikes this week as the 2-man crew rolls through this episode. So I'll start off with my like. Bungie's continuing to nerf exotics in PvP and leave them good in PvE. I mean, you just look at what they did with Omni, and they're just brings me joy that they are separating the game in a way. Whatever the engine change they did going into, like between Beyond Light and Witch Queen, they've done a lot of work to take this game where this game was meant to only last 2 or 3 years, and keep it going like this is pretty great.
Oh yeah, I definitely am happy about that as well. It's good that they can separate that for everybody. So my like is that Bungie is adding more intrinsic champion options with exotics. Um, I mean, we always say that just all exotics across the board need to have some kind of intrinsic anti-champ if that's what they're going for. I think it's something that they need to. I guess they're testing and they're just kind of like batching them out because they're throwing in I think like five of them at us, 4 or 5, and they're just throwing them at us. So if they every season just here's 4 more, here's 4 more, here's 4 more, it's like great. You're gonna hit all the weapons eventually, or all the weapons that people are using anyway.
Yep.
So keep it coming. Keep on doing it. Keep doing it. I enjoy it. I don't want to only be using Arbalest forever.
Yes.
I like it. I love the gun, but I would like to have other options. Then Ryan, it looks like Ryan put a like in here. He says that he likes Chadocero and Jared.
Oh,
Thank you,
nice.
buddy.
Nice.
We enjoy you very much. Now Ryan's dislike is NotRyanFox. So I think
It's a
there's
weird
a little bit
name,
of self-loathing there. Yeah, it is odd, but I mean he's not Ryan Fox.
Yeah.
Now my dislike is that Acrius did not get an intrinsic all champions mod. I mean the thing's just a delete button at this point. Just give it an anti everything, like anti. Just come on, man. Like it's just as soon as it sees a barrier, it just poofs it out of existence.
Yeah.
It just it unstops the opponent. It just overloads them immediately. Come on, like it's Acrius, bro. Like.
What are the Titan shotgun arms?
Oh my gosh, they're the old ones from D1,
Yeah,
right?
D1, right? No backup plan?
That's the one. No backup plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
I don't know.
It grants 30 AE on shotguns. I forgot about that.
Jump sniping with
Yeah.
Acrius.
Yeah.
My dislike is the secrecy for next season. I don't like just keeping so much stuff behind closed doors. Be secretive about it. We get a single dev tweet that they updated something in their bio, and it's like a 7-minute clip of them doing some finishers in game, and we see a green subclass. Like,
No spoilies, dog.
I'm just saying what's out there on the internet. I'm not saying it's confirmed. But I'm just saying, but the community just blows up. I mean, there's something so small like that, and it's just like, if Bungie just like gave us some breadcrumbs along the way, that wouldn't really be an issue. Like, I'm sure that dev got some heat for accidentally putting that updating and putting that out there. Like, there's no.
Oh, it got deleted real fast.
Yeah, like.
But people already saved the images. You know how it is.
Yeah. But just
yeah.
give us some info. It's fine.
I think I read somewhere that the Bungie devs were, some of the lore guys were happy with Haunted the way it was and how it kind of, it brought in a lot of good lore stuff, a lot of really good lore stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as as far as a season goes, which I think Ryan's gonna want us to do a like seasonal recap next week, so I'm not gonna say much. But as far as the season goes, it felt more light, like a expansion season. You know what I mean? But it did bring a ton of lore with it. But yeah, like they in the post I found, they said that they're more excited about this next coming season, lore wise, gameplay wise, than they were for the Haunted. So I'm like, oh, okay, like, that might be why they're keeping a bunch of stuff under wraps, and they want to just, but I mean, like, look at what happened with Haunted. They tried to do that too, and then all of a sudden Friday comes along, and Haunted. So we'll see if it makes it to Tuesday or not.
Yeah, that's true. It usually does not last all the way to the showcase. All right, we talked a lot of weapons already today, so no weapons breakdown. We already gave you some little ideas here or there with these weapon pairings with the exotic changes. Gambling Corner, I don't know about you, Chad, but I'm not playing a lot of Destiny during this time. I think I got to do a few more bounties, and
Oh,
that's
I finished, man. I got
about
my
it.
bounties stacked. All I got to do is my solo flawless, and then I can finish the Mass Effect series and be done with that too.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that
But
solo
yeah,
flawless whenever
yeah.
you decide to get that done.
Ah,
So I guess that's the only thing we could gamble on, Chad, between me and you, is if you'll get that done before the season.
oh, I will. I have to, man.
Yeah,
Classy
you have to.
Restoration's the biggest crutch
I
I
was gonna say,
got.
it's like if you don't get it done on Titan, it's you're doing something wrong. After you soloed all the other dungeons with nothing
Yeah, I
as
mean, I
busted.
I got first try to Keitel, and I got her below, like I got her to like a sliver, like
Mm-hmm.
literally, like so close, and then she got me.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed. I was right there too, and I had two bells left. I had two bells in the damage phase, like so I was playing it safe, and I still got Anyway, moving on.
All right. So that is it for other segments this week, except for this one that is going to be, a lot of speculation, a lot of little goodies to look out for in this weeks to come.
I mean, it's just a little bit of speculation. We're gonna do some this week, some next week. This week is gonna be on me and my thoughts. Now, like I said earlier, the main issue I'm having with this season is that the lore is all from the past. It's all about Callus's past, Keitel's past. She is his nightmare, so we fight her in his mind. Um, and it's all their story, her story, his story. We're on the Leviathan doing all kinds of stuff. So there hasn't been a lot of nuggets of stuff to kind of pin on other people. Um, let's go back to last season. Previous speculation we had. We talked about the Iron Lords because of the fact that Saladin had a bunch of lore that came out that season, a bunch of it. Obviously because of what was going on. Um, the Fallen we were trying to link together. There was a little bit of Fallen here and there, some stuff that's going on. Misrax doing his thing in some places, but not really. Which also brings in kind of Black Armory ish, but not really. And then we had another guess at Callus because Keitel was still chasing him from last season and from the Glycon. And we got that one right. So we were right that the Glycon came back, or not the Glycon, but the Leviathan came back, and it had the Glycon stuff, all the egregore on that brought to it, which isn't something we guessed, but I was still pointing at the Glycon as a reason why Callus should be coming back eventually. So it came true this season. Um, Now the closest things that I have currently are that the Drifter has been in the forefront of this season, and only in the lore. He's been in a lot of stuff. So in the Eidolon armor that you get from Eris, from the moon stuff. The Eidolon chess piece talks about Eris boarding the Drifter ship. She goes aboard the ship and asks him about samples from the egregore, and he says, it's just kind of here, like it was just here." And she asks him, "Well, where did you get it?" And he's like, "You don't want to know where I got it." And then she just looks at him and he says, "Well, it was a really cold, icy place. I'll take you if you let me drive your ship." And she shuts that down real fast. Um, and then after poking and prodding him enough, he finally tells her, "Well, you know that the egregore burns kind of nice." And she figures out that she can do something with that kind of psychedelic kind of stuff. So what she does is in the Eidolon legs, we've talked about all this lore, but just kind of recapping it. In the Eidolon legs, Eris and the Drifter go to Europa in order to like do a little ritual thing where they burn an egregore stock, or Eris does. Drifter's just kind of around. He's fighting with the fish because the fish is still at the camp doing his thing. Um, First mention of the fish coming back again was literally that lore. That's the only time it's come back. Um, they talk about she's on the ziggurat, which is where we went to commune with the darkness to get all of our stuff. And she burns an egregore stock in there and communes with the ziggurat in the darkness, that particular pyramid ship, and figures out that there is a resonance that the egregore has with the darkness. Now, lots of people are theorizing that the darkness classes. So far, we have stasis, which is the opposite of solar. They're thinking that resonance is going to be the opposite of void. Resonance being that orangey kind of glow, the stuff that's going on a lot in the Vow of the Disciple. all of Rolk's abilities are resonance based, so they're thinking that that's going to be its own thing. Um, and so the egregore kind of has a connection with that. Um, in the class item, Eris and the Drifter go to Rolk's pyramid in order to try to see if they can commune with it with the egregore. It works a little bit, but not really, because it doesn't have that same kind of connection. Like they said previously in another mission, um, the pyramids only commune with you if they need something from you. So if they can get something from you, they'll be like, yeah, you know what, it's a give and take here. But if you're only trying to take and you have nothing to give, they don't care. They'll just block you out. Um, and then they end up sharing a meal. I think it was some gumbo that he made with some shrimp, quote unquote. She liked it though. You know, she enjoyed it. And then we also have, which Ryan was alluding to, I think last week or the week before, the final message that the radio gives you of the season. And it's Eris sending a message to someone, and she's talking. Okay. So it was Jared, my boy here, um, talking to someone very kindly, um, and then she ends her message with "Take care, rat." So we know she was talking to Drifter. So again, Drifter's around. He's doing his thing. He's helping her do all her research. We don't know. The only things that we know about the Drifter is that he knew Orin, the current envoy of the Nine, uh, for what Trials used to be, um, and he has egregore on his ship. That's it. Oh, Gambit, I guess, but we don't know his reasoning for Gambit either. We don't know why he's making us do it. We know he has a connection to Shin Malphur, I guess. Um, but everything is like just small bits of information. So we also need an ending to the whole trust the Drifter or trust the Vanguard whole thing, because they said that that'd come back eventually, you know. So um, we'll see if that comes in, see if something happens there. My next speculation is still about Misrax, because he came up a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. The seasonal ghost, the one that came, the seasonal ghost that kind of looks like the helmet that we get, um, is about Misrax's nightmare. So it's him. He keeps repeating to himself, "The light provides, the light provides," and he keeps getting haunted by a nightmare over and over, and he keeps just repeating to himself, "The light provides." And the crow tries to talk to him, but he's still trying to escape from this nightmare, because he's desperate to leave the past behind and desperate to move forward. Um, so he's interacting with nightmares. So the pyramid ship sees him as important enough to go after him a little bit. And then in the new Trials Ghost also, he has a conversation with Saint. He talks to Saint a little bit, says, "Hey, we need you to help us out," and he's trying to help Saint get back on his feet and get him being active and doing something that isn't sitting at a hospital bed, just sitting by the side of
Osiris.
Osiris. There, he wants him to get up and do something that'll help, and so he's there for Saint. But like I said, there's nothing really for Anna Bray this season, so there's not really any info there. So no Rasputin stuff. There's not really any Saladin stuff. Um, so not really Iron Lordy kind of behavior going on right now. Um, just a lot of Drifter stuff and some Misrax stuff. So it could be Fallen. It could be more driftery things going on. Shin Malphur, maybe, but there's not a lot of lore this season that is about future things or is could be about future things. It's mostly about the past, so it's been kind of rough trying to trying to find
Mm-hmm.
stuff to use as evidence. But I mean, that's what I got. If Jared and Ryan next week, if they think of anything random throughout the week before next Thursday, they can just let me know, and I'll just try to pull lore and evidence for their arguments, and we'll try to see if we can make something else work and see if we can
Mm-hmm.
guess it right again,
Yeah.
because we got it right last time. So let's see if we can do it this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to trace down some audio clips from my favorite dungeon. Um, what I was just looking at it. The prophecy dungeon of the great dialogue between Eris and Drifter and Orin in that dungeon that might just spark some clues of what we've missed out along the way. All right, now it's time for the mailbag. And we got 5 questions here. So first question, do you have your 72 seasonal challenges done? This is where you have to complete 72 and then what do you get? 4,000 bright dust out of it? 2,000?
I think it's 4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's 4. But to answer that, yes. I did that last week while I was doing all my final what was it? It's so
Solstice?
long ago I can't remember. Solstice stuff. I was finishing off my Solstice Guilding, and I'm like, look, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna do all my seasonal challenges, so that the next 2 weeks, all I have to focus on are. I also stacked all my bounties, so I'm like, literally, all I have to do left is solo flawless that dungeon, get that out of the way, and I'm done for the season. I have all the seasonal challenges done except for crafting some of the weapons because there's way too many this season to craft. I've crafted maybe 6 out of the 11. I'm like, I'm not even gonna get close to the other ones. I don't care. I've gotten the ones that I like, so
yeah.
I mean, got my challenges done, got my bright dust, dipped out.
Yeah, I had mine done. I was really holding off on the Gambit ones, and like I waited, past week 10. Usually that's when you get the last week of seasonal challenges to then and just try to do all the Gambit ones and in one sitting, which ended up being like 8 or 9 Gambit challenges done, except for getting the ornament. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting 2 Gambit resets. I might never.
I got to the end of 3.
I might never reset Gambit again.
I was helping a homie get his resets, and I was doing my Gambit stuff, and I'm like, man, I got to 3, and I'm like, I don't want to keep playing.
Chad, you bring up crafted weapons. I feel like forbearance is going to be used a lot next season with Arc 3.0.
Yeah,
and stuff. So
I know I got mine on a character so I can level it up.
Yep. All right. Well, that kind of leads us into question 2. Any last minute weapons you were chasing to end this season?
Forbearance. Just that arc wave grenade is going to be really nice next season. I'm assuming it's going to be fun. So that's kind of the only thing I'm really looking for. I already have a couple of arc weapons sitting on my character, just chilling. So I kind of have what I need. A good plug would be nice this week if, but not necessary.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a auto rifle that I need to. Yeah, I'm finding the name of it right now. Sweet Sorrow. It's from season of the Chosen, right? Yeah.
Sweet Sorrow. Yeah,
Sweet Sorrow. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
It's a rapid fire frame arc auto rifle, which I like that frame for the most part with them. I probably need to craft it. If I'm looking at it now, I probably need. Perpetual motion, triple tap in that third column, and then maybe demo or focused fury in column 4 for PvE. And land take isn't a bad origin trait where you get after kills you get decreased. You get an increase to damage resist. So that's kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to do the last couple weeks, just to throw that on. Do a couple strikes, maybe do a nightfall here or there, but like not the hard one, and just level that up. But I think I'm not chasing it. I'm just leveling up a crafted weapon. That's kind of the dynamic that we're at now is less chasing and more just leveling stuff up. All right, question 3: what exotic that you have already for Arc 3.0 that others may not be thinking about?
Just for funsies, because I had it and I forgot about it that I had it because I had a build for it a long time ago, back when Prophecy first dropped. A Severance Enclosure. And that's the one where finishers and final blows against powerful targets just create an explosion around you. And I think it's like an arc explosion. So if you run into a mob and finish an enemy, you blow up. And everything else that's around you, red bar, just blows up. And there's like a bunch of like finisher mods that you can do that create wells and do all kinds of well nonsense. So it's like as long as you do a bunch of arc stuff, you'll just be in the fray. and I'm hoping that like arc chaining electricity is a big thing for Titans, and I can just run around and electrocute everything with my fists and finish stuff to make more things go boom,
Mm-hmm.
and then punch other things, and then finish something else to make it go boom. And it's crazy too. So the explosion damage from a like goes from like 100% of a damage like modifier to a 268 if you finish like a yellow bar.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's some damage that it could do. Um,
Wow.
but it was a fun build I had. Like it just I kept finishing stuff, making wells, giving myself over shields, and then
Mm-hmm.
just like kept finishing stuff over and over. Like that's all I was doing.
For me, it's gonna be Liar's Handshake and maybe a 1-2 punch shotgun, trench barrel shotgun. If you read cross counter, using the arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. That will heal you might
Mm-hmm.
be what it takes to make this somewhat viable against like some upper PVE activities. I do not expect to ever be running a shotgun build in a Grandmaster, unfortunately, unless they ever like give us like shotgun guard to where you just take
Yeah.
decreased damage while holding out a shotgun. It's not never going to be viable for the most part. Um,
Oh, dude. You bet. I'm taking that. I'm creating an arc build with that on my hunter, and I'm
mhm.
taking that to Kydal in the dungeon, and I'm just messing her up.
Yep.
I'm gonna mess her up so bad with the 2-4 punches. It's just gonna be like hit the bell, tractor, bang bang, mega punch, bang bang. It's just it's gonna feel so good. I'm excited.
And then obviously, I guess the only one out there for hunters is Shinobu's Vow that like increases skip grenade, but that's been around for a while. I don't think that's going to sneak up on anybody. So I guess Chad, should we tell people about hunter stuff or something? Maybe. I mean, warlock stuff. Since Fox not here.
Uh, um, um, I guess. I mean, everyone's gonna be running Crown of Tempest anyway, so
Probably true.
probably. I mean, Zer did drop a 70 bomb on it
He did.
a little while ago.
Getaway artist is
Um,
really good though.
yeah, Getaway's gonna be fun
Yeah.
for sure. Just
Yep.
to see what they do with Arc Souls. 'Cause, I mean, look at what they did with Child of the Old Gods on Void.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like, Arc already had the Arc Buddy. So like, Stasis got a little Stasis turret buddy. Solar
Mm-hmm.
or Void got that Void buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be fun to see what they do with the Arc Buddy, because I know that the Arc Buddy is a big deal. Like they made an exotic off of it. They made it's like a well, creating a well, a rift gives people that run into it an Arc Buddy. Consuming a grenade creates an Arc Buddy. Like it's just a thing. It's a thing that's cool that it does. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful on that one that it'll be just something fun to
Yeah.
use.
Or maybe something cool if Vesper Radius happens, where some kind of like interaction with an aspect will make it like triple the range and like take down like champions or something. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there also like a Mantle of Battle Harmony?
Yeah, you
Uh,
get your super faster if you use art
yeah,
stuff.
and oh well, that's just based off of matching a subclass to your weapon type. So
Yep.
that's just kind of its own thing.
But then once your super is full, you get increased weapon damage for matching the subclass. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're running Chaos Reach, you only use that to really take down the boss.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you hot swap over the geomags to
yeah, real quick.
just to
Yeah.
burn the boss. Yeah, yeah. All right,
All
question
right. Next
4.
question.
Go ahead, Chad.
What is an arc aspect you want for your class? Um, it's kind of hard because so Solar got hammer throw, which they already had a little throwing hammer. Void got the shield throw, which was new. Um, and then Arc kind of added in like the crashing one where you just do the melee straight down to the ground.
Solar, but
Um,
yeah, I think was that called concentration or something.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something cool that's arc E. Because like if you powered melee to an enemy and kill it, having a chain arc reaction would be kind of neat. But like they're
Mm-hmm.
kind of making Titan hunter and warlock do their own things within their own subclass. Um, so chaining feels like something that a warlock would be doing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yep.
So maybe like just destroying something with a melee increases melee recharge rate,
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
really increases it, like as long as
Mm-hmm.
you get a kill. Um, but I don't know, man. Like, you got any thoughts on for hunters?
Yeah, I want to make sure that Hunter's arc melee ability can disorient the enemy, so that's like basically blinding with like just a little bit more
Yeah, the
to
flash. Yeah,
a PvP screen. I think it like makes it gray for like a couple seconds there, or why it's like fading back in from the punch. Probably not a total 2 seconds. That would be really annoying in PvP. Um, but just to keep that, because I think blinding is going to be a big part of Arc 3.0.
yeah, because Arc has that the flash of light kind of
Mm-hmm.
aspect because they
Flashbang
have that
too.
grenade that does that. The
Yep.
flashbangs, yeah.
Yep.
Um, and then they got the lightning grenades. So yeah, they're all about the flashbang, the lightning and chaining,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the arc fields, I guess. So like, oh, maybe and like if you arc melee something, it creates a field of electricity
Oh, that'd be
for
cool.
the Titans. So kind of a little protection for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can create a safe spot for your buddies.
Yep.
If you do a full melee charge into an enemy, kill it, you just create like a little arc bubble that just is just damaging to the enemies.
Or
That'd be
like
kind of cool.
instead of making the floor lava, it makes it electric to where like it just like it
Yeah.
jitters you or something. Yeah.
Or maybe a barrier thing. Like enemies that walk into
Mm-hmm.
it get disoriented,
Oh yeah.
because normally it just does a little damage, but like
Mm.
if they get disoriented or if they get like they get shocked and like it does a little double chain, like a little ding ding, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Our last question here: what episode do you hope to have a guest by?
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with the
I mean,
century
I
mark.
haven't gotten century. Ooh,
Yeah, by 100,
I was
I
kind of
think.
I was hoping around there. I think before there is asking for a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Seeing as we're already at 73. Um, so I want to say before a century 20 would be nice.
Okay.
That'd be nice to have. I keep sending love letters to Dado's PO box and it hasn't worked. I'm sorry. We're not supposed to say
Yeah. Yeah.
to my good buddy that he doesn't know he's my buddy yet.
You might want to take those sites and just bring them down a bit. You know, I mean, Dado would be, you know, I think Bungie would have have trouble trying to book Dado. You know, so.
Yeah, I'm looking to book his alter ego, one of the ones with the boobs.
Oh, Elitist Dado.
So
Oh, I'll take Elitist
yeah,
Dado.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
All right, that's it for the pod. We 2
Oh
minutes.
boy.
Got it done. Sub 110. All right. All right. I'll take it. Man, thank y'all for listening. I'll go ahead and do my sign off.
I never remember.
And then Chad, you do the
Yeah,
final
let's
one.
do that.
Yeah. All right. So lots of good weapon changes. Really enjoyed it. And Mercules being back in the TWAB, he was great and just spelled it out in a way that just makes the people understand it. And like he has a good pulse on what's going on in the community. And he can definitely take the hate from the anime profile picture people on Twitter. And just a great guy to have in there in the TWAB.
Yeah, I'm glad I changed my anime profile picture earlier this morning. I'm not a part of that group no more. But yeah, definitely seeing Mercules in there was really cool. I'm happy to see it. He's a guy that's really good at breaking it down for the community in a way that is easily digestible for pretty much everybody. And that's essentially what I think we try to go for on this pod as well. We try to make stuff easily understandable for everybody. But we also go pretty good in depth for everyone that spends a lot of time like we do in the game, and just wants some extra info, wants some extra fun, wants some extra lore and stuff like that. But seeing him in there was really cool. I'm hoping to see a lot more of that in the future. Seeing him posting up stuff and maybe having his own posts on stuff like that. But definitely happy to see adding more intrinsics for exotics. I hope that just batch intrinsic exotics become a thing, and just happy to talk at you, even if we're missing a Mr. NotRyanFox. And again, please follow us on Twitter at Destiny CC Pod. Send us your Bungie friend requests. We'll be on in 2 weeks. We're gonna be on pretty much for like 2 months straight, so we'll be around. but now is a good time to get into dungeons that you haven't done, or raids that you need to do and stuff like that. Um, and Also, like the video, subscribe, unsubscribe, ring the bell, all that kind of fun nonsense. And we'll check you later.
Love you guys.